Welcome, everyone, to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark with a special guest tonight. Ted, how are we doing tonight?
Kara, we're doing great. We indeed have a special guest. Kara, you look marvelous, by the way. You are in true Roaring 20s form, and amazing that we have with us tonight, after a long time of asking, we have the great one and only John Traver from Traver Connect. John, welcome to After Dark.
My friend Ted, it is so good to be with you. Miss Kara, thank you for tonight. We're looking forward to this half hour together.
And you even dressed up.
Well, okay, I told Ted, I said, I got the vest going. I kind of got started. He said the bow tie didn't work for him, so I didn't go that route, So maybe we get Ted to wear a bow tie. What do you think?
I think we should.
Ted?
I'll take you up on that challenge, John, but be careful tonight with the challenges, all right? So some caution on that. Anyway, look, we are very honored to have John Traver with us tonight. But before we get too far, I want to go ahead and Kara and I want to thank our exclusive sponsor for tonight's show.
Yes, BG Products, Partners Beyond Products. Thank you so much for always sponsoring everything we do. But tonight is even more of a special night, Ted, because we have to congratulate Bob Tasca and his BG Mustang on winning the 2022 Topeka Heartland National Championship. We're so excited for him, all BG'd out, and wow. I hope to see him again here soon, Ted.
I have a feeling we will, Kara, and I like that term. He is BG'd out, John. Take note of that. I think we're going to hear that again. And I will tell you this, Kara, our good friend Bob Tasca uses BG products throughout the Tasca Automotive Group exclusively, and he is just a great force, not just in racing, but for our industry as well. And I saw a video recently where he addressed a large number of technicians on encouraging them to enter the retail automotive space. And stay tuned, because I think we're going to have some of that at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, perhaps even on After Dark with Bob Tasca and BG coming up. So great stuff.
How exciting.
Yeah. And by the way, are we live tonight?
We are live tonight. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So the comments will be flowing in, John. So prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Climbing in on the challenges.
I wonder who that is.
I don't know who that
is. The challenges should continue. We go alias. This is green room fodder for those that are just tuning in. But anyways, what do they say? You write it like you find it, so, hey, here we go.
Kara, I know John is dressed up tonight and you are as well. And why is that? Is there something coming up that would necessitate that?
There sure is. And it's coming up quick, Ted. September 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we are going to be all roaring 20s out because of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, the Roaring 20s, our 3-day virtual event. And we are so excited. If you haven't already got your complimentary tickets, grab them now at fixedopsroundtable.com. And don't forget, we are having a best dressed contest for all the speakers and the viewers. So make sure you get your outfits in, order them now so that you can participate in our friendly competition.
Kara, I just saw the awards that Allison Landis has put together. They're actually nicer than the best practice awards for this event. So they are really amazing. And we're going to do that for the viewers as well, you said, right?
Yes. So I guess the awards being so fancy gives some incentive for everybody to want to grab one of those awards, right?
Yeah. In fact, Roger Conan, I could see you dressing up and being eligible for that as well.
Hi, Raj.
Hey, so appreciate everybody being here. Traver, thank you so much. Tonight, John, we thought we'd start off with a little cameo. Our good friend of the Roundtable, Ed Roberts, took a few moments to film a little clip in advance. And if it's all right, he has a couple questions for you, and I'm going to show that now.
Ted, I understand you have John Traver tonight. John, I wanted to send a couple questions, maybe get you thinking a little bit. I was at your facility a couple weeks ago, and phenomenal facility you have there. But I wanted to ask, what is there? Give me something about Texas that maybe most of us doesn't know. 2, how long have you been serving the dealer community with taking away some of their pain points and helping them be more profitable? And then 3, when I was at your facility, I noticed a few pictures on the wall with you, your wife, and your kids. And most of them, you had a bit more hair. When are you going to join the Ed Roberts crowd? Thank you. I look forward to your answers.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah.
Bald is in style, apparently.
Apparently. Look at the smirk on this. Oh! Look at this. Oh, man. Oh.
Ted, I think that's your new look.
Kara, it's starting to grow on me. I like it.
I mean,
that's
low
very
maintenance.
It's
low maintenance going into the fall and winter. I'm going to save a lot of money on both haircuts, John, and hair coloring. And I think this could be the new brand because, Kara, you and I have been looking at some new social media things. This could be the start of that.
I mean, I would wear a bald cap just to support you guys. But if y'all need a wig, I have some to lend out.
Yes and yes.
All right. Well, I like where this is going.
That's rich. Oh, yeah.
Now, John, when I met you, when I met you many years ago, the current look was not the look at the time.
Well, Ted, we all evolve, buddy. Nothing really stays the same, right? Oh,
this was the John Traver, Kara, that I met back in 1993 in Houston at Gulf States Toyota, and he was there teaching Toyota at GST, the very beginnings of the Business Development Center. And John, I think I still have some of these VHS tapes and this workbook to this day.
Wow. Do you have a VHS player, though?
You want to know something? I do have a VHS player. Yes.
Really? Does it work?
It does work because there are some things that are still on VHS that I've saved over the years. So, John, this collection you've got, and I noticed ASTN on here also. That was a big part of John Traver coming into the training industry, was it not?
It was. Hey, Sean Butler, good to see you, buddy. It was. Ted, I was really fortunate to get a chance to work at ASTN. They called, I forget even how it happened. Oh, it was Owen Rashal. Who you remember Owen Rashal?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So he shot a bunch of stuff, and then he's like, hey, you need to go up there, and they're going to call you. So I flipped to Dallas from Houston. And then Joe Lascota, who was the program director, and Vicki Hudson, who was kind of the on-air personality, said, Kara, that would be like you. So it was up here in Dallas. And ASTN, by the way, they had LSTN or LETN, Law Enforcement Television Network. They had an education.
ASTN was Automotive Satellite Training Network.
Television network, yes, or
Television,
training
okay.
network, yeah. And so they had like 5 or 6 different industries. So you pull in, and it was wild. You had all these dishes, and when I say all, I'm talking hundreds. The cafeteria was, oh gosh, it probably sat 250 people. Green rooms, multiple studios. It was all television quality. And so as I was doing some shows, they would ask me to write stuff and then I would produce it. And then Joe said, "Hey, I want you to do sales meetings." So sales meeting was like what we're doing right now. It's like a half hour, maybe an hour. And he goes, "You come up on Monday and you shoot the week, you put it in a can, you go back home." So I would bring 5 suits, get on a Southwest flight, come up to Dallas Love. They pick me up in a car, take me to ASTN. I'd shoot 5 days worth of shows with Vicky. And at 3:30, I'd hustle back to the airport, go home, and was just wrecked. Like you're just super tired, like you guys are after you do the 3-day event, right? And that's why I always say to you, I know how that feels. Look at Ted; he's giggling, like, "Yeah, buddy." So it was just something. A lot of fun. Probably shot 200 shows. What do we got? The styling, David. Yeah, buddy. And Roger, I did see you sneak in there, buddy. Thank you for all your support over the years.
And I saw Earl Sticks Brown on there as well. Earl is going to be speaking at the upcoming event in September. I saw Robert from CMA Valley Dealerships. Robert and Sean Butler are going to be on some big, heavy-duty panels in the next coming days. And Dustin, welcome. John, I got to ask you, early days of the BDC, you are known as the father of the modern day business development center. That would not have happened without John Traver. Take me back to the early days, because I would imagine anything new, you would have encountered some kind of resistance from within the industry. I got this new idea. We're going to have a department, a center in the dealership where we're going to reach outbound proactively to customers and inbound. Did you get any resistance along the way, John?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the resistance was going into the BDC. Hey, John, they don't want to go do the shift. They don't want to go. And so, if you back up behind that and you ask the question before that and say, what was the original idea? The original idea was updating an outdated sales process. That's really why I did it. I mean, I listened to how we spoke, and it was, if I could, would you? What's it going to take? Right? There were still keys being tossed on the roof. Hey, we lost your keys, but my used car manager's still working on getting a better number for your car, but I'm going to try and find your keys. I know you're in a hurry. That customer in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, was smarter than the industry gave him credit for. That Consumer Report, Motor Trend, all that was already out pre-internet, of course. I like to say Al Gore hadn't created it yet. Had to say that because I think he did create it, right? Isn't that what? Okay, so
it's on Wikipedia. Yes,
it is. Yes. So the trade regs were telling customers what invoice were. So Kara, at that time, you had consumers who were like, "Look, I'm gonna kind of stop the shenanigans, and I'm gonna." So it's very similar to the internet customer today that we have, but it started with that, and it really, I mean, it may sound like a long time ago, but it really wasn't that long ago. And so the customer my point is they've evolved very rapidly with information in their hip pocket. So my goal was really just a couple things. Number one, update an outdated sales process. Number two, I wanted to put polish on it. So Tom Stuker already had the phone room. And so what I saw there with the phone room was, I think the direction was good. It was aggressive though. It was aggressive. And I was trying to put some polish on how to go about doing this. And so one of the visions I had was for a business development manager. I felt like that was the future of automotive. And if we could take a person and teach them how to properly coach our front line, which was our sales staff, for 90-minute shifts, if they could teach them keywords and phrases, not scripting, if they could teach them how to overcome objections, if they could motivate. We had somebody that would go through the ranks in the dealership. And I will tell you, I'm going to give you a few names, and some people in the audience may know these names. Bill Carmichael is the CEO of a very large dealer group in the Northeast. Bill was a salesperson at John Elway Toyota in Denver. Bill went on to be a sales manager, general sales manager, platform president for AutoNation, and then CEO over there in the Northeast. Ron Campbell was a salesperson at Fred Haas Toyota. He now has an interest in a couple stores on the West Coast, and he came to work at Traver Tech as a trainer, and then he went on as a general manager and a platform president for AutoNation and worked his way up. Mark Rogers, another guy. So I just it's for me, that's the real success, is seeing how the industry kind of took that and ran with it. So Business Development Center, I said, look, this thing needs a more polished name. And then BDS, Business Development System, evolved from that. And then I had forms at that time, Ted. So what I was looking at on the showroom floor was, when it came to floor up follow-up, we didn't have the right information. And part of the problem was the sales staff, they didn't ask for the right, they'd say, okay, great. So I understand today's not the day. And can I get a number, because I'll go ahead and look and I'll get back to you. And they were real generic in their question. Well, when you get a number, it's usually a home number. And when you make your follow-up calls, it's the daytime. And guess where customers are not when you're making those calls during the day? They're not at home. And so salespeople would say, oh, this doesn't work. I can. Well, of course it doesn't work, because you got the wrong number. You got to be more specific. So you say, Kara, listen, I understand. I know there's a lot of information to gather, and I want to give you all the time you need. What I'd also like to do is parallel that, give you a chance to get that. Let me also go to work for you behind the scenes, see if I can't give you some more intel relative to what we're doing here product-wise. There's a couple things I wasn't able to show you today. I'll reach out just so I know what's the easiest way to reach you during the day. So that was very specific. And then I'd say, just so I know, if for whatever reason I can't reach you at that number, what's the next best number? And that was the next number. And so we changed the floor logs, Ted. We changed it to best daytime number, next best number. And then I taught a third question. I said, listen, if for whatever reason, and by the way, this was always fun to teach, because what they thought the reason was kind of a surprise. And so it was like, if I try at both numbers and I'm unable to reach you, what do you want me to do? And what I'm really looking for is approval from you for me to reach out. But three things would happen. Number one, you get customers say, well, I'll tell you what, just call me at the work number. And if I'm not there, leave a message. I'll call you back. Ta-da. That's what I was trying to accomplish. Or they give me a third number that they maybe normally didn't hand out. So it was this sort of journey, Ted, towards how do I talk more intelligently? What are the steps? I definitely was not a script guy. And that was another problem I had, because a script was word for word. And I just felt like communication was a contact sport. I felt like my ability to connect with you really came down to 3 or 4 principles, key phrases, key words, understanding at this point in the call, this is going to be the main question to ask. The only reason I should talk is to get you talking. I mean, the less I talk, the more I'm actually serving you. So that was the beginning of the BDC. We copywrote it. I had an attorney who said, hey, you should copyright this just in case, because we had software. And I was like, okay. And so that was a painful process, by the way, back then, for whatever reason. And I was kind of a one-man band. So that was the beginning. Toyota called us about a year in. We were in, 8 or 10 of the top 25 stores, and they happened to be doing a best practices study. It was Tony Fujita, who you remember.
Oh yeah, Tony. Yeah. And by the way, Kara, you would think Tony is a little Italian gentleman. He was a Japanese gentleman, very Japanese. Tony Fujita was.
He was, and I would just say he spoke English, but it was in a dialect that was that halting sort of, it had strong. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a Seinfeld. So Marco, I respect your work, buddy. I love your pieces on Ted's Roundtable. So keep it up. Just props to Marco there. But he called and he said, hey, we've been studying and watching, and we may want to talk to you. It was kind of awkward, Kara. It was like, we may want to talk to you. And I was a young guy, and I kind of didn't know where to go with this. And
that meant he does want to talk to you, by the way, as you know.
And that was click. That was kind of the end of the call. And then like a couple weeks later, he calls back. He's like, John, Tony Fujita, he's John Matt wants to speak with you, and I said, okay, and he said, he's VP of sales. You remember John Matt?
These are big names, John. Yeah. You're calling out all the big time VPs. Yeah. By the way, let me go back for a moment, because if we could bottle the last 5 minutes, everybody, I don't know if you all appreciate it. I don't even know if John knows that he's doing it, but this is a lost art. John is going back and taking us through the words and phrases that have run through his head over dozens of years, and he's crafted that those exact words he's saying right now and those responses to the customer to elicit that response. And I know to this day John Traver does that, because I could tell when it comes out of his mouth that, you know what, that just didn't happen by accident. That happened intentionally.
I think that communication is one of those things that is a differentiator in anything you do. And the cool thing about it is you don't need a degree. I mean, we can go to Texas Tech, we can go to University of Texas, we can go to University of Wisconsin. All right. We can go wherever, but we don't even have to go to school to learn to be a better communicator. And so it starts with saying, look, I want to connect with people better. We taught what we call the PACE lead pyramid, Ted. And it had two concepts. A PACE meant to align, and a lead meant a question or a statement. So what I did is I turned it into a metaphor. And I said, think of it like this. If you ever get an NSF letter in the mail, non-sufficient funds, right? And I always love asking the question, how many know what I'm talking about in the room? I said, oh, really? So NSF in the mail, and that's when you get the stamp and you had the insufficient funds. Okay. Well, when you communicate, there are times where the customer gives you that Heisman, like, hey, I'm not answering that. Like, I don't trust you at that level. So I said, okay, a PACE is worth 25 cents and a lead is 50. So if I pace you 25, and I lead you 50, you get nothing left. So when I start out, I'm going to align with you 3 times before I ask you anything. I'm going to say, hey, listen, I know this is a crazy process. Everybody, that's a what? That's a PACE. And I know you're spending a lot of time on this, and it probably is frustrating at times. And I know I'm even going to throw an extra one there. And I know you want to make the right call. I'm curious. When you started out, you feel it coming now? Do you feel the difference? So it was a very simple concept. It wasn't what you said. It was understanding what you're doing. Like, you haven't earned the right. So that was level 1. Then level 2 was 2 paces in a lead. Level 3 was a pace in a lead, because I'm carrying money over as I work my way up the pyramid. And then when I have rapport, I can just ask questions. Speaking of Ed Roberts, do I get to answer some of his questions? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Ed, Texas. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you more than one about Texas, because you guys know I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up in southeastern Wisconsin, worked for the Russ Darrow Group. I was director of operations training. Before that, I was, hey, Micah, I was worked for the Wild Group in sales and sales management. When I got to Texas, you think it's all, cowboy boots and cowboy hat, right? If you're watching 1883, Taylor Sheridan's work, awesome. Or Yellowstone, it's not all cowboys. So that's the first thing I tell you is it has 2 of the largest 5 metro markets in the whole United States right here in Texas. Dallas is number 4 with 7.5 million people, and Houston is number 5 with 7 million people. Look it up. Yeah. I mean, it's massive. So it has metro. So that's one thing that will surprise you about Texas. Number 2 is I love the diversity of the whole topography. So like, you got coastal if you want water. Now, personally, when I lived in Houston and you go down to Kama and NASA, that was like, I don't know, it was brown water. So that didn't do a lot for me. But if you go farther south down towards Corpus, and okay, now you start getting into some better water. Mountains. You want to go see mountains? Ask Kara. You go past Tech, and all of a sudden now you start getting in beyond the plains, and you get into some mountains in West Texas. Or you go down towards what's the big park, Kara? Big Bend.
Yeah.
Big Bend. Yeah, really beautiful, Ted. And then the prairies. You get into East Texas, and you got these coastal prairies with undulating, terrain. It's just gorgeous. Madisonville area, right? Leon County, really, really nice. And then you have the urban that I just spoke to. So all in Texas, really, really cool. As far as how long I've been doing this, I've been fortunate to be doing this. I started in '86. So I'm in my 37th year of contributing,
Wow.
And helping kind of discover and find. And then the hair question, Ed?
Yeah. Do you want to address that last one, John?
Brother, I can't wait to see you next month. Hmm. Well, here's the thing.
Come
You know,
on.
there are some decisions that I feel like I can make, and there are some decisions that are kind of above my pay grade. And that's one that's going to involve my wife. It's going to involve my kids, my grandkids. I mean, I'll tell you what my textbook answer for that one is: in a very distant fundraiser, maybe. How about that, Ted?
Ooh.
Let's meet your family, and John, and we'll come back to that. Who do we have? Who do we have here?
Oh, those are two of my dudes right there.
Oh.
So on my Blondie is Briggs. That's my oldest grandchild. He's 3.
No.
And inside my knee, that's JR, John Robert. So Briggs is the first son of my middle son, Spencer, and his wife, McKenna. And JR is Mitchell and Liv's son. And these two dudes are something, man. I mean, they're something. They kind of make me melt. There's JR, there's me and Mitchell. So I'm like 6'3.5" now. Mitchell's 6'7". So you can see I'm dwarfed. Yeah, he's a biggin.
Wow.
There's me and Spence and Briggs and Haven. That's number 2. So Haven, boy, she is the straw that stirs the drink. What a sweetheart. She'll just melt you. And then if she wants to just call the shots, she'll do that too.
Oh, wow. And you have a daughter as well.
Oh, yeah. Now, speaking of straw that stirs the drink, that's Kenneboo right there. That's my youngest. She's 24. She'll be 25 this year. She is just something else. All fun, and got a big heart. She really, really does. Yep. Oh, wow. That's my bride. I would be a tenth of the guy I am without her. We met in college. She was adopted. I was adopted. That was kind of like our first, like, you're adopted? Oh, you're adopted. I was like, oh, yeah, we got something to talk about. And so I hadn't seen her like in 3 months. And I had a buddy who ran another dealership in town. And Foster Pontiac, Jim Foster.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember Foster's. Yeah. And so Dawn walks in and I go, and I was so excited. She came in and I go, Beth. Seriously. I said, Beth. I called her Beth.
Not good, John.
The picture was 4 letters and I couldn't get it out. And I just need to tell everybody I'm horrible with names. And so she goes like this. She goes, Dawn, close. So anyway, it was uphill from there, guys. It was uphill from there.
There's hope.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is in the workshop. I have a shop building at the house and some property. And I'm kind of weird that way. I think this is where I do my best thinking.
Yeah.
Just me, just working on stuff, equipment or whatever. And it's just kind of my little getaway where I can just think and be outside. I dig that. That's fun for me.
Yeah. That's strong. Wow. Everyone, I want to let our audience know that John Traver is going to be with us at the September Roaring 20s event. John Traver from Traver Connect will deliver a day 1 segment up to John Traver's standards, which are incredible. And John is always a star of the show. And John, we look forward to seeing you at the event in September.
Looking forward to it. Love the Roaring 20s theme. You guys are killing it. I keep telling you this, and I hope the audience knows that I'm sincere when I say this. I think they would concur. You guys just keep polishing the delivery, how you produce, the graphics, the support, and then the messaging just widening. I mean, the Jay Leno thing really, really was something. And I know you're probably aiming for the stars.
We're going to outdo that, John. But I will say this. I want to thank Traver Connect for your tremendous support over the years, because we would not have a Fixed Ops Roundtable without you, without people like Kevin as well.
Kevin Dittmar is a horse. Senior director here. The guy was at Traver Tech for years. Has an incredibly loyal following of dealers. And we couldn't do some of the stuff we do without Kev. Kev, good to see you tonight, buddy.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't yet have your tickets, Kara, let us know, how do we go ahead and get those Roaring 20s tickets?
Grab your complimentary tickets now at fixedopsroundtable.com. And guys, don't forget to dress up. I mean, I got Ted in a hat, so I feel like if he can do it, I mean, John's dressed up tonight. I'm anxious to see everybody dressed in their 1920s attire.
And if you missed any part of tonight's show, we spent a lot of time on the YouTube channel the last couple months. So we're streaming live on YouTube tonight as well. But you can go ahead and you can check in right after the show. And Kara, all of our past events are there as well.
Yep. So subscribe to our YouTube channel now, guys, because I mean, there's really not a social media platform that we are not on now, Ted.
That's right. And with the introduction now of TikTok, John Traver, Fixed Ops Roundtable, I think, is everywhere. And Kara, I was telling you today that I see a lot of potential in what we're going to be doing there as well.
Oh, TikTok's going to be fun. I can't wait to make Ted do TikToks. That'd be great.
You're in good hands, Ted. You're in good hands, buddy.
I could see that. Well, John, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope there was value, and I always enjoy spending time with you and Kara and anything that has to do with Fixed Ops Roundtable. Thanks for joining us tonight if you were out there and tuning in.
Thank you so much, John. I can't wait to hear more from you here soon, hopefully in a bald look. But anyways, guys, before you can respond, thank you for watching. And on behalf of myself, Ted Ings, and John, we love you guys. Make sure to catch us on Wednesday at 8 p.m.